you, Louise.
Thank you.
Need to stay.
Yeah, to be honest, I would say like Louis or Professor Wang remind me of the dark days I had in my college before the exam, like the probability, like advanced mathematics, and then I remind Yang like presentation, remind me how I convinced myself. Even I failed the exam, I'm fine. So really appreciate your presentation. It's very scientific, I would say. And so you can see, you can then like in our communication club, you can not only learn from the presentation skill, but also the scientific thing, like the mathematics and the way about psychology, the way to overcome failure. So in future events, just feel free to come to join us. And back to your presentation, I really like it. It's very, like I would say, very scientific, as I said. And I like maybe have like few words to describe it because it's over my understanding sometimes. Yeah, but it's open for everyone's comment. I would say you also give us a very great presentation, a great speech, like to deliver some like a bit complicated content. Yeah, I would like to defer to your comments for her speech.
From my perspective, I don't see why you should have felt nervous. You were absolutely great on the stage. You talked you were at ease, I think. There was one slide that I got a little bit lost, the one with so many numbers, a lot of numbers. No, but maybe it's just because of I don't have many neurons. So.
This one, right?
Yeah.
But I'm very bad with numbers.
I'm just trying to make it as scientific as possible.
And to intimidate you.
She intimidated me.
So she reminded us like how good our trade compliance team can handle the complicated things.
Good job.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anyone else? Yeah, Eric, please.
So I agree with what he was saying. You did a really great job. No reason to be nervous. You delivered very well. I also want to talk about this slide. Take it or leave it as advice, but there's a number trap. And when you're up there telling a presentation, you're trying to tell a story. And numbers, if they play a role, should be supportive of the story, but not the story themselves. And so be careful in explaining all of the numbers, because what you really want to get to is the so what. What is the point of this? I mean, I got the point from your talk, but what I'm saying is all of this points to something. There's a conclusion. That's what you want to emphasize your time on, not explaining c to the 16th, all of this. You want to focus on maybe, look, this is scientific, there's a scientific proof behind this. All of this equation shows that. I'm not going to explain it, but the outcome is what I want to talk about. That's the important. So,
Thank you.
otherwise, really good.
Hey Louise,
Hi.
you mentioned that you were nervous. One of the things that I noticed happens to me when I get nervous is I start to speak more quickly, and as I start to speak more quickly, my voice goes up. And one of the things I would recommend is to slow down and breathe. And when you do that, you will introduce more variety in the pitch of your voice. The pitch of your voice stayed relatively monotone the entire talk, and as you can vary both the speed and the pitch and the volume, you create more interest for the audience.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now let's please our individual evaluator, Marian, to give his evaluation.
Now I've got to watch my pitch as well, right? So no, Louise, I think when it comes to presenting, I think it's really natural to be nervous, right? And I think that even the best presenters in the world are a little bit nervous. But I also think that when it comes to a good presentation, oftentimes you hear people say a good preparation is half the work. I know a little bit about your preparation for today, and I think for you, you know, the effort that you've put in and the thought that you've put in, and also the changes that you've made throughout the process, I think your preparation was probably 90% of the work, because your preparation was so well done, right? I know how you went through this process. So I think that by itself is something that, you know, the audience doesn't see. They don't see that part of the work that you've put in, right? But it is absolutely super important. It's probably more important even than the presentation or the result itself, right? It is about the preparation. And I think that should be applauded. What I loved about your presentation, and this is something that you can't really prepare, right? You can't really do that, but that's where you showed kind of your impromptu, like your kind of standing in the moment. But when you came on, you immediately said, I can learn something from the previous presenter. I'll need to apply that. So, and that doing that in the moment makes it light. It makes it really like engaging for the audience. But it's not easy to do, right? To capture something from. So I thought that you did that really, really well. There's this thing called RSVPT, which is all about your tone, right? It's rhythm, speed, volume, pitch, and tone. We've heard a little bit about this already from some other people in the room, but I actually don't necessarily agree with all of that feedback, because how I saw you stand here, I thought you were actually very clear. I thought you used quite an engaging tone, and I don't necessarily think you talked too fast. I think you can still slow down a little bit, but it was actually really good. The content, very complex stuff. Yeah, I'm also not very great with numbers, but I think from how you were standing and how you were talking about it, and then when this table came up, you immediately walked to it and you started pointing it out, and you know, I can feel that you're passionate about this, right? And that is super, super important. And you know, it dripped off of the stage, your passion for this. You captured the audience with a super great example. You said, okay, everyone, you're all prisoners, you know. Imagine you just robbed the bank with your best friend, and everyone's like, oh, what? How do we rob the bank? Oh, sorry. And now you applied humor. You said, my dear prisoners, I love that as well. This slide, it slowly came in as you talked to it, like use the transition slides, it's very good. You used an argument of authority, where you brought in the university professor, which is very strong. And I'll give you some more feedback later, okay?
Thank you.
All right.